What's up, everybody, and welcome to Diabetes Talk. My name is Justin, and I hope that you joined us for that awesome upper body workout. I want to give a huge shout out to Claudette and Jeanette for joining us for the workout and for the Diabetes Talk. I hope that you enjoyed that. It was a challenging yet very productive workout. I feel awesome, and you did, I'm sure, an amazing job with that. However, I am very excited to talk about tonight's topic, which is best outdoor activities to lower blood sugar, which is just, it's a very, very easy topic to cover, but I don't want to just tell you one exercise and send you on your way. I want to go a little bit into detail with it and just help me, help you, and we'll make the world go round. So yesterday, if you stuck around during the live stream, I mentioned that I had a very, very frustrating diabetes day, and it started with a couple of failed sites on, I don't know whether it was me inserting them or it just my skin was rejecting them or what, but as of 4:30 p.m. yesterday, my sugar peaked at around 500, and it wouldn't stop going down. I tried to squeak in some exercise here, but with my end, being somebody living with type 1 diabetes, it didn't, the insulin didn't take due to the fact that it wasn't coming into me because I didn't have the proper insertion of my sites. So, it was a very, very frustrating evening, night. If you ever have experienced hyperglycemia, I hope that's why you're here. Not because you've experienced hyperglycemia, but because you want to know some effective exercises that we can all do together. You can do with friends, family, whatever it may be, to successfully lower your blood sugar. So after, I think, about 7 site changes, I finally got one that took yesterday, and at around 8 p.m. maybe, so about 4 hours difference, I finally came down back in the hundreds. Felt like I had been hit by like 12 Mack trucks and then backed over by 15. Not a good feeling. It was definitely one of those, FUs to diabetes, but like Charlie says, like I say, if somebody told you managing your diabetes was easy, they truthfully have no idea what they're talking about. It's very, very challenging, and that's why we're here to help you and have you help us. And I think it's just, we want it to come full circle, and we're really happy that you're here with us tonight. I want to give a huge shout out to Donnie Ray as well. Welcome to Diabetes Talk, Donnie. I hope you enjoyed that workout. So with that being said, you're probably wondering, what did you do? How did you get your sugar down? So like I said, earlier in the day, yesterday, I attempted to ride the bike for about 20 minutes. A very easy exercise, moderate intensity, easy to moderate intensity, should have resulted in a very positive outcome with my diabetes, especially being at 400, pushing 500 at that time. But due to the fact that my site wasn't working and I actually wasn't getting any of the insulin that I was putting in, it led my sugar to not only peak at 500, it actually kept going up. So finally what I did was, after I put in a successful infusion, I actually then went for a quick walk. And with the fact that I increase my body sensitivity to that insulin just by walking, not even for 15 minutes, it actually had a tremendous outcome with my diabetes. So basically, right off the bat, with this nice weather coming around, we have families, friends coming over, everybody's getting together, barbecuing, camping, kayaking, whatever it may be. There's just so many great outdoor activities that we can all do together to get that blood sugar down. So basically, the first one that I want to start with is walking. Okay, I can't stress enough that this is, the top of the food chain type exercise for people living with diabetes in terms of lowering their blood sugar. And there's a couple reasons why. When we walk, we're utilizing our lower body muscles, which are some of the largest muscle groups in our body, which allows us to expand those parking lots, like Charlie, like myself, like Lauren, like everybody else who's ever been on Diabetes Talk has probably mentioned. One of the parking lots that we have is our muscles. So by expanding our parking lots, by doing an exercise such as walking, we actually open up more stores in our body for excess glucose to go. So what that means is by walking, we actually free up some of those parking spaces, which directly correlates with a nice drop in blood sugar. So the fact that walking is actually a very low or a very easy to moderate exercise, and literally we can all do it as long as you feel that the weather is nice. You can just go outside, take a quick stroll around the block. It's actually very, very effective and one of our personal favorites here at GlucoseZone to get people's blood sugars down. So for example, I had a client the other day. They came in with a sugar of, I believe it was in the low 200s. We just went for maybe a 30-minute walk around the block, around the building, and they came right back down, I think, in the 150s. So within 20, 30 minutes, they had a 70-point drop from where they started to where they finished at. And it's just very, very important to get out there and stay active, especially with this nice weather right around the corner. And another really quick tip to give you is, obviously when we go walking, we don't want to have, the backpack on, the extra excess things with us, except, maybe a water bottle. But it really is so important to check your blood sugar. And due to the fact that whether or not you actually need to lower your blood sugar or you're just going out for a walk, like I said before, it's very, very easy to lower that number with a simple 20 to 30-minute walk outside. So make sure that you're packing your glucometer with you. And if you don't know that your blood sugar is high, how are you going to know what you need to do to lower it? And basically what that means is it's as simple as that. It's just make sure that you're checking your blood sugar on a frequent basis. I know if you watch me during the live stream, the last blood sugar check, it didn't get enough blood. Very, very greedy of the glucometer, but it happens. I know it's frustrating. It can be frustrating sometimes, but you're certainly not alone. And make sure that when you're going for these walks that you are packing something, especially your glucometer and some juice, a fast-acting carbohydrate, and it's really, really important to be prepared. So walking, top of the food chain, my personal favorite, very, very easy and effective, and it works. We know it works. But make sure as well that if you are somebody living with type 1 diabetes or you're on insulin as somebody with pre or type 2 diabetes, make sure that when giving insulin, if your blood sugar is high, that you're also cautious of this when going for that walk, due to the fact that exercise in general increases your sensitivity to that insulin, meaning really simply put, your body can utilize the insulin better. So if you're giving yourself insulin because you see that you have a high blood sugar and then you go for a walk on top of it, it could actually be a double whammy and result in a hypoglycemic episode, which is also a very, very frustrating process, which we try to avoid. And like I said before at the beginning of this diabetes talk, that's actually exactly what happened to myself last night. I was literally in the 500s. I put all of this insulin in with no luck. Finally, I did a brisk walk, and I woke up in the middle of the night in the 60s. So 500 to 60, definitely not a good feeling, and we don't want anybody experiencing that and going through those frustrations of having diabetes, because we understand, of course, how challenging and annoying it can be at times. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of one another. So it's really important to just be aware of those signs and symptoms as well. So the next exercise that I really, really love, and I definitely need to do more of it because it's one of my personal favorites, is biking. It's it's relatively all lower body exercise, and basically depending on where you go, you can make this a very easy exercise, a very moderate to challenging exercise. It's all based on your personal preference. So I know that New Haven actually does a program where you can go downtown and rent bikes, which is really an amazing thing, and I back them 100% because I think it's a great, it's a relatively flat area. It allows everybody around us to stay active for a very, very low cost because, of course, not a lot of people own bikes. But you have to just be aware of hypoglycemia as well when you are exercising, especially outside, especially doing a lower body exercise, which is walking, which is biking. So the best things I can say for you to just be aware of hypoglycemia and to avoid low blood sugar, especially when your main goal is to lower your blood sugar just by going outside, is always have those snacks on you, and I can't stress that enough. Glucose tablets are very, very small. You could have 6 to 8, I think, in a sleeve. They consist of 4 grams of carbohydrates. They're very, very fast and effective, and it works really, really well. So I think that just having those in, whether it's in your backpack, whether it's in your back pocket, your front pocket, any pocket, just making sure that you are prepared. Or another thing that I personally do is if you're going out with friends or you're going out for a hike or wherever it may be, and you don't really know the area, but you're going there, look it up beforehand and see that, where maybe the closest convenience store is, where there's a grocery store, just somewhere that you can either go beforehand and get a snack just in case, or God forbid you're out there hiking or walking and are experiencing hypoglycemia, it's a very, very easy transition for you to say, I realize there was a gas station down the road. Do you mind if we go that way and pick up a quick snack? Claudette, I do not do dancing, apart from my moves being fantastic. All of my family and friends and everybody else tells me otherwise. I don't know if they're lying to me or what, but dancing is actually a great exercise to do indoors and outdoors to lower that blood sugar, especially because it's a full body exercise. Doesn't matter the intensity. It's a great head to toe exercise. And I really do love dancing. My friends don't suggest that I do it a lot, but that's okay. So the next exercise is what we all do in the summer. It's coming around. I think we're actually in summer now. In New Haven, we straight up skipped over spring. We went from winter to summer. Just like that is swimming. So swimming actually is a total body exercise, and it's very, very easy for your blood sugar to drop in the pool, especially if you're just treading water, swimming around the edges, or just hanging out with some family and friends. So it's just really important to be aware of the fact that you may experience some hypoglycemia during swimming. If you're starting at a higher blood sugar and you go into the pool and you just do a couple laps, maybe you tread water for a little bit, just be aware of the very quick drop in blood sugar. If the exercises that we're doing are actually more challenging for us, so the next example would be running, which actually is a moderate to hard intensity, that actually might have our blood sugars flatline. So or increase. So what that means is when we focus on our heart rate levels and we're doing an exercise that is a little bit more challenging than just going for a walk or going for a nice bike ride on a flat surface, when we start running and we increase our heart rate levels, it directly correlates with a slight increase in blood sugar. So this is something to be aware of. And contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think, maybe I'll just go out for a quick run with a high blood sugar. And more times than not, that actually may hurt you more than help you. And I say that because, of course, we want everybody to stay active and make sure you're getting in the glucose zone. You have those healthy blood sugars, but nobody's diabetes is perfect, certainly not my own. So when we take it outside and we go outdoors to try to lower our blood sugar, it's very, very important that we're doing the appropriate exercises. So the next one that I have on the list is hiking. So this is also an exercise that kind of falls under the same category as running, due to the fact that you could have a very easy to moderate hike, or you could challenge yourself and you can be stuck at the top of the mountain with a low blood sugar, and that's definitely not a good place to be. So I constantly harp back to these tips and tricks that I'm also advocating, that you just make sure that you are staying hydrated throughout these exercises, that you're bringing enough water, you're bringing maybe a juice box, some glucose tabs, whatever it may be, as well as your glucometer. I would say those are probably the 3 biggest necessities that we need as people living with diabetes is your water, your glucometer, and a fast-acting carbohydrate. So something that it might be a candy bar, it might be glucose tablets. It's when we think of a hypoglycemic episode, we might not always turn to the healthy aspect of things, and which is unfortunate, but if your blood sugar is low, your blood sugar is low. And we're just looking for whatever we can get our hands on to actually quickly spike that blood sugar. However, one healthy option, which a lot of people, I think, living with diabetes try to steer away from, and you could treat yourself if you do have a low blood sugar, is fruit. I know for me, I love apples with peanut butter, and I noticed that they don't affect my blood sugar too much because of the glycemic index, but they do affect my blood sugar very, very quickly. So my blood sugar doesn't go too high, but there is a quick little spike in my blood sugar. And when we're on these hikes or when we're out walking, if our blood sugar starts to drop further than we'd like it, and we do experience some effects of hypoglycemia, it's actually really, really smart for us to just have something, handy. Also, another one is diluted Gatorade. If you put just half the Gatorade, you fill up the other half with water, it's not going to push you over the edge. It's actually going to be just enough to really get you where you need to be. And I know the topic is, best outdoor activities to lower blood sugar, but believe it or not, walking is one of the best activities we can do. But ironically enough, it can drop our blood sugar very, very quickly because of the low intensity and the increasing our sensitivity to insulin with every step we take. Essentially we're expanding and working those leg muscles. So it's just really important to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings when going outside, when doing these activities, and just to let people know where you're going as well. And that's a whole nother topic, is if you go for a walk to lower your blood sugar, you want to make sure that you are testing, I would say probably 20 minutes into that walk. And it actually is really important, just really quickly going back to what I was saying about, as silly as it sounds, nobody wants to have people harping over them or watching over them all the time, especially with our diabetes. But it might be smart if you are going for a walk by yourself, or you're going just any outdoor activity by yourself, to let people know. Let somebody know, anybody, just your dog. Well, maybe not your dog. They probably can't talk back to you. But just a friend, a family member, a significant other, somebody just really quick and say, hey, I'm going to go for a quick walk. I'll text you when I get back. I'll call you when I get back to the house, just so they know you're okay. God forbid something happens and it's just a freak situation that none of us want to think of. But it's just so important to be prepared. So going back to what I was saying, though, however, about making sure that you are checking your blood sugars about 20 minutes, 30 minutes into the activity itself, is for two reasons. One, to make sure that you're still in a safe range and you're not actually climbing up, because for myself, I had a freak accident yesterday and none of my insulin was going in, and that the exercise that you're doing is working effectively. So another couple tips I can do to just stay active, especially encourage you all to stay active and get out there and get your blood sugar controlled and really take control of your diabetes, is if you have a smartwatch, such as an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, there's different challenges you can do. So you could actually, I have a couple people on my list that I share with them when I exercise or how many steps I'm taking, and it's just fun. It's all in good fun. It's competitive, but it's funny, and you get to see their progress and how they're doing with their diabetes, or whether or not they have diabetes or not. It's just something to keep you active and encouraging one another. So another thing too is fishing. And I know that a lot of people think of, more times than not, there probably won't be too many people watching this that go out fishing. But if you are somebody that does fish, this can be an upper body exercise due to the fact that if you are reeling in a fish from time to time, it's a very quick and intense exercise, which may result in a spike in your blood sugar. So this is just something to be also cautious about in terms of when you're out there on the boat. especially for a long time, or even if you're on the shore, it's more times than not, it's going to be hot. You want to stay hydrated. You want to make sure that you have that glucometer, because when our bodies overheat or we get warm, it's actually 10 times harder to feel those signs and symptoms of hypoglycemia or even hyperglycemia. So just to bring that glucometer and be aware of what you need to do is just so, so important. So like I said, the easier an exercise is for you personally, the quicker it's going to blow down, the quicker it's going to lower your blood sugar. So basically what that means is be aware of your signs, your symptoms, and the exercises at hand that you're doing, because it can be very, very challenging and frustrating if we go out for a walk with a friend, with a family member to lower our blood sugar, and then we go back in the house, check our blood sugar, and realize that it had dropped so low that we need to treat it, and then you're kind of right back where we started. So more times than not, it's actually very frustrating, but it happens to me quite a bit, is, now that, we are a digital health company, we like to walk, we like to get outside, especially when it's nice out, and, in New Haven, it's getting very, very beautiful, like 70-degree days. It's very, very nice. So what happens is I'll go out for a walk with the blood sugar in the hundreds, and I'll come back and it's a picture-perfect blood sugar, and I'll come back from the walk, and I'll actually have a low blood sugar. And of course, I'll bring snacks on the walk. I'll have like a little backpack that I have stuff in it, but when I get back in, I check my blood sugar again, and I realize that I've gone a little bit too below that glucose zone, below my, safe range, my comfort range, and that leads me to more times than not, I'll actually end up overeating, especially being somebody living with type 1 diabetes. It's very, very easy for me to, in my head, I have that mentality of, if I overeat, I'll just put in some insulin for it, and then I'm constantly riding a wave. And what that means is, what we're trying to encourage is that you're having steady, flatline glucose levels, and that you're taking control of your diabetes. So in that personal example, I'll start out for a walk in the hundreds, I'll come down to, let's say, 60, I'll eat a little too much carbohydrates, I'll come up to 200, and then I put some insulin in, then I come back down, and, more times than not, it can be a roller coaster. And I think that don't think that you should feel that discouragement or just any frustration with being somebody living with diabetes, because we already take so much as it is, but just making sure that you're prepared and you have the necessities that you need is very, very important. So there is a little challenge that I like to do, and I think we should encourage our viewers to do it as well, is if you're going for an exercise, definitely incorporate some more exercises along the way. So let's say you're going out for a walk and you're going from point A to point B. At point A, maybe try doing 20 squats and 10 same side elbow to knees, and just, do some of the exercises that you do with us in the GlucoseZone pre-walk and then post-walk. And actually, more times than not, if the exercises are a little bit challenging to you, rather than, just walking for an hour, it might actually balance out that blood sugar, and you will have steady glucose levels, and you will, in reality, just reap the benefits of that outdoor activity. So just be aware of the things that may happen when you go outside, especially in terms of being dehydrated, hypoglycemic episodes, whatever it may be, and just make sure that you're really being aware of your diabetes, and make sure to take care of yourself throughout each activity, because of course we know how frustrating it can be when your blood sugar is going up and down and there's constant fluctuation. But make sure that you are bringing your glucometer with you, you are monitoring your blood sugar as you feel is necessary, which I would recommend for every 20 to 30 minutes that you're exercising, just like we do in the glucose zone, I would stop and check your blood sugar and just make sure that you are in the glucose zone and making sure that you are having success with your diabetes, because at the end of the day, that's what we're shooting for. I know how challenging it can be, but get outside, stay active, stay with us in the glucose zone. Bring one of our workouts with the GlucoseZone app outdoors. You know, we are here to also educate you, and if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to us. And just keep other strategies in mind. Always be open mind, or always keep an open mind in terms of exercising outdoors, because there's just so many different things we can do. Whether you're dropping your kids off at the playground and you see the monkey bars and you're like, maybe I want to try a pull-up, or whatever it may be. Just make sure you're staying active. And I want to thank you all so much for joining us for tonight's topic, best outdoor activities to lower blood sugar. So wrapping it up, walking is at the top of the food chain, but don't limit yourself just to walking. Make sure to get in different exercises during the walk, or hike, bike, climb, run, swim, whatever you can do to enjoy that weather and have a good time with family and friends and really take control of your diabetes. So with that being said, thank you all so much for joining us here in the Glucose Zone, and we'll see you our next time. Thanks.